Alright, so I've been reading the comments, okay? I've been seeing what you guys have been saying. Everyone keeps saying, bro, bring back the long story times. I don't want these 8-minute videos. I want the 18 to 30 minutes. They want the long story times. You guys like it long, okay? Pause. You guys like it, the videos long, okay? I can't talk today. But yeah, today's story time is one that I haven't told because I thought it was too long. This story time took place back in 2014. I've been wanting to tell it ever since I created my channel in 2014, but I didn't. Because, yeah, I thought it was too long. I thought no one's going to sit through this. Like, they need to be shorter. And, yeah, I honestly just didn't plan on telling this story. And that's crazy because this is one of my favorite stories of all time. Like, literally, this is one of my craziest, one of my just most eventful. And I've really wanted to tell it for a long time, but like I said, couldn't because it was too long. And I also didn't want to tell it and take any details out to shorten it because the details are what make it a good story, obviously. So, can't do that. And yeah, after seeing that you guys like the longer videos, I will tell this one, and I hope you enjoy it. If you enjoy it, leave a like. I have tons of stories that are so long I haven't told them before, so if you want those, I'll do them, but they're going to be fucking long. Like, not, like 15 minutes. I'm talking like 45-minute stories, so if you want those, I can do them, but let me know. Okay, anyway, so today's story time all starts off back in 2014. Now, in 2014, I can't lie, I wasn't in the best headspace. I did not like school at all. The school I was going to at the time really did not mesh well with me. I thought a lot of the kids there were like super rude. I thought a lot of them were really like bad kids. I know that sounds super rich coming from me, the one that's about to tell the story called Hiding from the Police. But like these kids were a different breed, dude. Like yeah, I snuck out sometimes. Yeah, I smoked with my friends. I did things that were definitely not, considered good for my age, obviously. And I obviously advise against those things for everyone watching. But the kids in my school, those kids would like rob people. They would try and steal cars and shit. Like there was a kid in my school that literally got arrested at school for trying to break into a car and steal it. Like these kids were just a different level in my opinion. And they did a lot of shit I didn't agree with. So every time I go to that school every day and I'd have to talk to these kids and like try and relate to them, I'd be like, dude, I can't relate to that at all. Now that isn't to say I didn't have a good group of friends at this school. Of course I had friends at this school. There were some people there that I really did like. But I'd say the majority of the people there just put me in a bad mood, I would say. I have a song called Bad Mood. You should definitely stream it. Top link in the description. Anyway, shameless plug. Yeah, I was in a bad headspace around this time. I really didn't want to go to school every day. I was just in a shitty mood, right? So this all starts off like any day in 2014. I had to get up early. It was like 6 in the morning. I took a shower, got ready for my day. I was ready within like 30 minutes. I had pretty good time on this day. I didn't wake up super late, so I could kind of take my time getting ready. And yeah, after that, I jumped on the bus. I went to school, got to school. And I'd say the first like 2 or 3 periods of the day, first 2 or 3 classes, were actually relatively chill, relatively normal. Nothing really happened, right? 4th period, however, this was the class I had before lunch. So I was definitely like extra just, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, like impatient, antsy, like whatever. I was sitting at the back of the classroom in 4th period, just staring at the clock, like counting the seconds and the minutes until lunch hit, because I just did not want to be in class. I just wanted like a nice 30, 40-minute break, right? And because I was staring at the clock and because I was staring at the wall, just kind of daydreaming and counting the seconds, I wasn't paying attention. And my teacher noticed this, and she did that thing that a lot of teachers like to do when you're not paying attention, and she called on me to answer the question she just asked, and I didn't know the answer because I didn't pay attention and I wasn't listening, which is my fault, of course. But yeah, she calls on me and she goes, Austin? And I was like, huh? And she was like, you want to answer that? And I was like, what's the question? And she's like, what did Derek do for a living? And she was asking me about a book we were reading in class. This was English. And I didn't read the book either, which did not help. And I don't even remember the book because I never read it. And I told her the truth. I was like, listen, I wasn't paying attention. Also, I have not read that far, so I don't know the answer. I was just being honest because I wasn't going to give her the correct answer. So I told her the truth. And she responds with something I did not expect. She goes, okay, so answer the question. And I was like, I didn't read that far into it. I just said that. And also, I don't know the answer. So I can't answer your question. And she goes, sure you can. What do you do for a living? Just give me your best guess. And I was like, it's going to be wrong. I didn't read the book. And she goes, I don't care. And I was like, all right, a janitor? And the class laughs at me because they all read the book and I didn't. So like I was completely wrong. And then my teacher laughs at me, which just sent me over the edge, dude. I was furious. Like, it's one thing to get laughed at by your friends, like whatever, right? But like the teacher, the lady that is supposed to be the professional, the one who's not supposed to pass judgment onto her students, like literally supposed to teach you, is laughing at me because I got it wrong. And she didn't even tell me what the right answer was. She just goes, nope, that's wrong. And she moves on to the next question to someone else. Now listen, at the end of the day, it was my fault for not reading it. I was in the wrong in that sense, okay? But I think the point she tried to make didn't come off the way she thought it would. Like, I understand teachers calling on somebody that's not paying attention to kind of like call them out and make them pay attention. But this just seemed like she wanted me to get laughed at and just like wanted me to get the answer wrong. So it pissed me off. But whatever, right? I just kind of like put my head down after that. I didn't feel like dealing with school at all. Now, I forgot to mention this, but before class, I was drinking a Gatorade, okay? They had Gatorades in the vending machine. And in third period, I drank an entire Gatorade. So about halfway through fourth period, right after this really, really annoying interaction with my teacher and getting laughed at, I start having to pee really, really bad, right? And I'm like, okay, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I stand up. I go up to the front, and I approach my teacher. She's in the middle of speaking to the class, so this was kind of like a bad time, but I really had to go, right? And she stops talking to the class, and she looks at me, and she says out loud to everybody, what do you want, Austin? And I was like, can I go to the bathroom? She goes, no. And I was like, I really have to go. Like, this isn't some, like, I'm trying to skip class. Like, I gotta go. And she literally says, like, word for word, I don't care. You should have paid attention. Now you're gonna pay the price. So this girl, this teacher, was punishing me for not knowing the answer to her question by making me hold my bladder and potentially piss myself in front of the whole class, right? Now, after she tells me this, the whole class giggles again. They, like, laugh at me. And now I'm just, like, extra angry. And between like her embarrassing me twice in a row now and me having to pee really bad and not being able to, I was just done with it. I'm like, you know what? I'm leaving anyway. So I start walking towards the door. And any other day, I would probably just sit down and hold it and just wait till class was over and then go to the bathroom. But like I said, everything combined, it just had me mad. So I start walking towards the door, right? And my teacher stops again and goes, where are you going, Austin? And I go, I'm going to the bathroom because if I don't, I'm gonna pee my pants. And she goes, no, you won't. Stop it. You're being dramatic. Sit down. And I go, no, see ya. And I go to open the door. And she like runs over and like blocks me from opening the door and like gets in front of me. And she goes, you're not leaving my class. Go sit down now. And at this point, I really had to pee. And I was really angry. So I said something I kind of regret. And I didn't mean it. And I would never do this. But I go, if you don't move away from that door right now, I'm going to go over to your desk and piss in your coffee cup. So what's it going to be? I go to the bathroom or I go pee in your coffee? And the class laughs. And I'm like, yes, finally. They're laughing with me, not at me. And I'm like, can I go now? And the teacher goes, you're not funny. Go sit down. And I was like, okay. So I turn around and start walking away, right? And the teacher walks away from the door back to the front of the room to go speak with the class. And I quickly do a 180. And I just start beelining it for the door, right? Like I'm just running to the door as fast as I can. And like she turns around and tries to run at me, but she kind of slips and she like loses her balance for a second and it stops her. And yeah, I made it to the door. I opened it and I ran out of that bitch as fast as I could and ran to the bathroom. And she didn't chase me, luckily. After I got out of the room, she just like let it go. But I wish I had a video of like me running out of that room because it literally looked like we were playing basketball. Like I fucking did a 180. I ran around her. She like slipped trying to chase me. It literally looked like we were playing basketball. It was so funny. But yeah, I ran out of the room, went to the bathroom, and after I was done using the bathroom, I couldn't go back to class because like I knew I was in a world of shit when I got back there. I knew I'd be in a lot of trouble. I'd probably get detention or like sent to the main office. And I was just fed up with the entire day at this point. Between everything that just happened and like how I didn't want to be at school, I just really wanted to leave. So yeah, I just thought to myself, you know what? I'm skipping the rest of the day. So after I got done with the bathroom, I went to the nearest exit. And I just walked out of my school, like just during fourth period. And across the street from my school, there was a few restaurants. There was like a burger spot. And then there was like a breakfast, like donut spot. So I went to the donut spot and I went in there. I sat down at one of the little booths and I'm just sitting there on my phone, like scrolling Twitter. And I had literally no plan. I was like, dude, what am I about to do for the rest of the day? Because there was still like 2.5 hours of school left. So I had some time to kind of just kill. And I'm sitting there at this donut place and I start texting my friends. All my friends that I had at that school, I was texting them. I was like, yo, what are you up to? Yo, yo. And they're all replying like, I'm in fourth period. What are you doing? I'm about to leave fourth period. What are you doing? And I'm just replying like, yeah, I just walked out. Couldn't take it anymore. I'm skipping the rest of the day. Like, fuck it. And most of my friends are replying like, oh shit, dude, like, good luck. But then my one friend, we're just going to call his friend Sam, okay? Sam replies after I tell him this, and he goes, oh, bet, where you at right now? And I was like, the donut spot across the street. He goes, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, why? He just doesn't respond. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then like not even 5-10 minutes later, the doors of the donut shop open up and I see Sam walking through and he waves to me and he sits down at my booth and he's like, what's good, bro? And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm skipping. Fuck it. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. And we ended up going to the front and we bought donuts. And it's funny because the staff definitely knew that we were skipping school. Like you could tell she was giving us that look of like, why aren't you guys in school? And it didn't help that Sam had his backpack on. So it was very obvious that we just came from across the street. But she didn't really care. She sold us the donuts and we went and sat back down and we're just eating them. And like 5 minutes into our donut eating, I see the front doors open again at the donut shop. And I see 2 police officers walk in. Of course, 2 cops are getting donuts, dude. It's like some shit right out of a movie. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I look over at Sam. He's like, dude, we're fucked. And I was like, no, we're not. Just like chill. Just we'll eat our donuts. We'll act like we belong here. Don't act suspicious and we'll be fine. They won't think anything about it. He goes, bro, I'm wearing my backpack. Is it not obvious that we're supposed to be in school right now? And I was like, dude, they probably won't give a fuck. They probably are just going to think we got out early. Or like, you know, we're just having lunch here and then going back. So like, just chill, like relax. And the cops order their donuts and then they walk by us. And one of them actually nods their head at me, like saying hello. And they just walk by us. They don't say anything. And they sit down at one of the booths right in front of us because it was a very small donut shop. There wasn't a lot of places to sit. So they sat right in the booth in front of us and we were fine. Like they walked by us. They didn't say anything. Like I said, they probably assumed we were just there eating lunch or something, or maybe just like let out of school early. And yeah, we were in the clear, right? Everything was good. Me and Sam looked at each other like in just pure relief. And we go back to talking normally. This time our conversation was a little bit more, I don't know, like normal, because we didn't want to talk about how we were skipping right in front of the cops because they would definitely hear us. Well, about 5 minutes goes by, right? At this point, we had eaten our donuts. We were ready to move. We wanted to get out of there, get away from the cops, even though they weren't, coming after us. We just like didn't want to be in there. So we got up, we went to one of the garbage cans, threw away our garbage, and we started walking towards the exit. And as we're walking towards the exit, we walk right past the cop's booth, and I hear one of the cops' radio go off. And it's my school cop on the radio, the one across the street that works at my school. I hear him say some like code or something, and I can't really make out what he was saying at first, but then towards the end of his sentence, I hear him say, red backpack, black t-shirt. And I look over to my right, and Sam is wearing a red backpack and a black t-shirt. And then I hear him say, black jeans and red sneakers. I was wearing black jeans and red sneakers. So it clicks in my head. I'm like, yo, our school cop is on the radio telling all nearby units to look for me and Sam because we're skipping school. So immediately Sam looks at me because he has the same realization. And it was like we had a whole conversation in our heads without saying anything to each other. We just both booked it as fast as we could to the exit doors, opened them up, and just ran out into the parking lot as fast as we possibly could. And we ran down some like nearby bike trail and we just kept running, like just running as fast as we possibly could until we were far away from that donut shop and far away from our school. And like, we didn't look back. We just ran, like eyes forward, just running, not looking back. I didn't know if we were being chased. I didn't know if those 2 cops were behind us. I didn't know shit, but I did not want to stop and look because I didn't want to get caught. So after we ran down this entire bike trail, it led to a park nearby, and it was like a pretty empty park. No one was really there at that hour, and we sat down at a bench, me and Sam, and like just caught our breath for a second. Don't get me wrong, we were still super paranoid and like on the lookout because we thought the cops were right behind us, but we needed to catch our breath so we could keep running, right? We probably ran for like 1.5 miles, 2 miles straight, just without stopping, so we were very, very tired because we didn't run a lot back then. Now, me and Sam look at each other, and we're both just in disbelief at what just happened. And I ask him, I'm like, yo, did they like chase us? And he goes, I don't think they did, bro. I feel like we could have just walked out of there and been fine. And I was like, yeah, I mean, maybe, but I didn't want to chance it. He's like, nah, man, me neither. That's why we both ran. And I was like, well, now what, dude? Like, we're fucked. The school knows we're skipping. Like, our parents definitely know. The cops know. Like, what are we going to do? He's like, I don't know, man. Like, let's just chill here for a little bit. So we sat on this bench for, I don't know, like maybe 30 minutes, just like chilling there, just talking, trying to calm down because we were just very, very anxious and paranoid about what just happened and what might happen. And like after 30 minutes, I was like, all right, dude, we got to get moving. Like we got to go do something. Like we can't just sit here all day. Like we got to move. He's like, all right, what do you want to do? I was like, the mall is like 2 miles from here. You want to walk there? He's like, bet. Yeah, let's do that. So we get up and we start walking to the mall. Now, I thought this was a totally foolproof plan, right? I thought this was like a genius idea because the mall was like 2 miles away. At this point, we'd be like 3 or 4 miles away from my school. I thought at this point we'd be like so far away that the cops wouldn't even be over there looking for us because, they'd probably stay near our school, kind of looking over there, not by the mall, right? So yeah, we walked to the mall. It took us about like 40 minutes to get there, maybe a little longer. We got there completely fine. We walked on one of the main roads all the way there. We didn't see any cops or anything, didn't get stopped by any cops on the way there. We got there completely fine, right? And we walk into the mall through the main entrance, the food court, and we sat down at one of the tables, just like chilling. We were really relieved, really happy. We made it. We were good. At this point, the school day was actually almost over. So like we were almost completely in the clear. And at this point, all my anxiety was pretty much gone. Don't get me wrong. I was still a little bit worried about later that day when I got home because I knew my mom was probably going to ground me for eternity. Because my school definitely called her at this point and left a message that I was skipping. They always would. She just didn't have her phone at work. So I knew later when she got out of work and saw that message they probably left her that I'd be in a lot of trouble. But I didn't care. That was for later, right? So me and Sam are sitting at this table in the food court at the mall. I decide that it's a good idea to go and get a coffee to celebrate our victory of skipping school. So I went to the coffee shop in the mall, got a little iced coffee, went back to our table, sat down. I'm sipping my coffee, just chilling. And all of a sudden, Sam's phone on the table starts going off over and over and over again. I'm like, yo, someone's calling you. He's like, oh. And he looks at it. And it's his mom. And he's like, oh, shit. And I was like, are you going to answer it? He's like, fuck no, dude. She knows I'm skipping. And he sends it to voicemail. And like 10 seconds later, his mom texts him and says, you're skipping school, ? Call me right now. So now I knew the school called Sam's mom, and they definitely called mine. And when she got out of work later, she was going to probably hear that message they left her and be like, oh, my son skipped school today. He's grounded forever. But like I said, that was for later. Okay, that was later's problem, not now. So yeah, I looked at Sam and I was like, dude, we may be fucked later, but right now we're still good. So let's just enjoy the few hours we have before we're totally screwed. And he's like, yeah, good point. So we got up and we just started walking around the mall. We started going into different stores, just kind of like window shopping, looking at stuff that we couldn't afford. Your boy was not getting paid by YouTube yet at this point, I was still very much broke. So I was just going around looking at stuff like, oh man, like that hoodie looks really cool. I wish I could afford that. And just kind of moving around, looking at stuff that I wanted, right? And we do this for probably about an hour. Like we're just going around the mall, looking at random stuff, going through stores, just like talking shit, having fun, right? And we get into this one store. It was a shoe store. It was some local store. It wasn't even like a chain or anything. And me and Sam go in here and we immediately just start being trolls. We like go to the back of the store where they have like the men's section and we're like trying on random shoes and just like, just being shithead kids, like messing around. And Sam tries on these like random pair of like skate shoes, right? He walks around in them for a little bit. And I noticed that one of the employees at the store is staring at us. She's probably like, a 19, 20-year-old girl, like young employee. And she's staring at us, kind of looking suspicious. And he starts trying to like dance in the shoes, right? He's like bending the toe, he's like creasing it. And the employee sees this and yells at us. She goes, hey, don't do that to those shoes. They're brand new. You're going to crease them. Unless you're buying them, don't do that, please. And Sam, I don't know what had gotten into him, man. He like gets this attitude. He's like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just trying on shoes. Is that illegal? And she's like, no, but you're both kids. I know you're not going to buy the shoes. So please don't ruin them. He goes, I'm not ruining them. See? And he starts trying to dance in them again, like do a moonwalk. And she's like, stop doing that or I'm calling security. And I was like, Sam, knock it the fuck off. Put the shoes back. We're leaving. And she goes, yeah, listen to your friend. And he's like, whatever. And he takes the shoes and he puts them in the box. He puts the box back on the shelf. And we start walking out of the shoe store, right? And I'm thinking, okay, like that's done. We're good. She didn't call security. Like we're okay, right? Well, all of a sudden, once again, don't know what got into Sam on this day, but he just throws this girl the finger as we're leaving. We're walking out, and he just throws up the middle finger at her and mouths the words, fuck you. And like, I immediately grab his hand and like pull it down. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, dude, fuck her. She can't do anything. And I was like, yes, she can. She can call security. He's like, what are those rent-a-cops gonna do, bro? Like, we're fine. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, Sam, like, whatever. So at this point, I want to leave. I just want to leave the mall. Before anything else happened, I just want to get out of there. So I was like, yo, we're leaving. Like, we're going to one of the exits. We're done. So we start heading towards the nearest exit. And we get to the exit in about like 5 minutes or so. We were kind of far from it. So we got there and we're walking out and we're literally leaving, right? And we see the security truck parked on that side of the mall that we're leaving out of. And I see the security officer make eye contact with me and he starts pulling up to us. And I'm like, oh shit, man. Like, she definitely called security. Like, that's him coming up to us to like talk to us. Like, I don't want to talk to security. And Sam notices it too. He's like, oh shit, man, I think she called security. And I was like, yeah, I know. And he's like, well, what do you want to do? You want to run? You want to talk to him? I'm like, bro, I don't know. He's like, let's just talk to him, bro. He's a security guard. What's he going to do? Arrest us? Like, he's a mall security guard. We'll be fine. I'm like, all right. So Paul Blart pulls up to us and he parks his little truck. And he gets out and he goes, you boys here with an adult? And I was like, no, we're not. He goes, oh, well, don't you know there's a curfew here? You can't be here if you're under 17 without an adult. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I completely forgot about that, which I did. I literally forgot that the mall had a curfew. And I was like, yeah, I completely forgot. I'm sorry. And then Sam, of course, just has to make everything more difficult than it needs to be. He goes, well, I'm 17. Can I accompany him? Like, can I be his guardian? Because I'm 17. Sam was not 17, okay? We both were not 17. We were both 15. And we looked it, okay? Like, I was still pretty short at that time. I did not hit my full peak height yet. So did Sam. He was just short in general. So we didn't look like 17-year-olds. And the officer knew that, the security officer. He's like, I don't think you're 17. Even if you were, like, you're not his brother, you're not his family, you can't accompany someone that's under 17. Only family can. And I was like, okay, yeah, we'll just leave. And Sam's like, no, that's bullshit. Like, I'm 17. Like, he's my friend. Like, I'll make sure he's okay. Like, we'll be good. And the officer's like, you can't go back in the mall. You gotta leave. And once again, Sam starts giving this dude super attitude. He's like, I'm a paying customer. Like, you can't kick me out. And keep in mind, we didn't buy shit other than a coffee. I bought a coffee. So he wasn't even the paying customer. I was. And the security officer was actually super chill. He was like, I get it. You're frustrated, but you can't go back in the mall. It's just the rules. I'm sorry. I'm just here to enforce them. And I was like, it's okay. We're leaving. Come on. And I grab Sam by the arm and I like pull him away. I'm like, let's go, dude. And we walk out of there, right? I just want to get the fuck out of there because there was too many close calls at this point. First, it was the cops at the donut shop. Now it was like the security at the mall. Plus, like, he almost got security called on us by flipping off that girl at the shoe store. Like, I'm honestly surprised she didn't call security because, like, she could have. And then right then and there, we could have gotten in a shit ton of trouble. But yeah, I just want to get the fuck out of there, right? So I pull Sam away by the arm and I'm like, let's go. We're leaving. And we start walking away. And the security guard goes, have a great day. Just being a nice guy, right? And once again, Sam turns around and goes, fuck you, rent-a-cop, and throws his finger up at him. And I was like, dude, why? And the security guard goes, what? And he gets real mad. And he jumps on his little radio and starts calling in something. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I'm like, we gotta go. Come on, we gotta go. Sam, go now. And we start like moving quicker. And the security guard goes, stop right there. And we just start running. And we run across the street over to this grocery store because at that point we'd be off mall property and the security guard doesn't have any, like power over there. So we went to this grocery store and we sat down at one of the tables because they had like a cafe area. And I'm like, Sam, what the fuck are you doing today, dude? Like, this is like the second time you're getting us into shit. He's like, bro, it's not my fault that everyone today has a power trip. I'm like, they don't have a fucking power trip, dude. You do. And he's like, no, I don't. I'm like, yes, you do. Like, these people are just telling you to, like, chill, and you're, like, throwing the finger at them, being a dick. Like, you gotta relax. And he's like, well, sorry, bro, I'm stressed out. Like, I gotta go home later and get fucking grounded, and, like, I'm skipping school because of you. And I was like, no. Not because of me. Like, you did it on your own. You joined me, but it wasn't me that told you to do it. He's like, whatever, bro. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. Is that what you want to hear? And I was like, yes, thank you. Now, after this, I thought that would be the end of everything. I thought we'd just chill at this grocery store. After that, we'd walk home. We'd take our punishment like men, and we'd just go about our life, right? I thought this was the end of the school skipping saga, okay? Well, after about 20 minutes of sitting in this grocery store, I see two cops walk in, and it's the same exact fucking cops as the ones that we saw at the donut shop. And I'm like, yo, Sam, turn around right now. And he turns around and he sees them walking in. And he goes, no fucking way. And I was like, bro, we gotta go. And he's like, yeah, let's leave. And I'm like, no, we gotta wait, dude. They're right there by the exit. Because the way these cops walked in, they walked in and then they stopped and they were talking to one of the employees. And the exit was right next to the entrance. And they were right in front of the entrance, which means they were also in front of the exit. So we couldn't leave yet. We were like cornered by these cops and they didn't even know it. They didn't know we were in there, but we did and we were cornered. So we just had to sit at this table and like hope that they didn't see us. So we're just like sitting there waiting, just waiting. Finally, they get done talking to this employee and they go in to do whatever they're there to do. I don't know if they were there for a call or if they were there like shopping. I don't know, right? And yeah, they start walking away. So me and Sam, we get up and we start making a break for it for the exit. Now, we're not running because that'd just be too obvious. We didn't want to like draw attention to ourselves, but we're like fast walking, okay? And we get to the exit and we're walking out the exit and I think we're good. And I turn around, right, to make sure the cops don't see us. And I turn around and I see both of them staring right at us. And one of them points at me, staring at him. And he goes, don't move. And I look at Sam and he looks at me and Sam goes, part two. And he just takes off running and I run behind him. And in my head, I'm just like, here we fucking go again. And yeah, I take off running with Sam. We're both running as fast as we can. Same as the first time. We're just not looking back, eyes forward, hauling ass as fast as we possibly can. Because this time, we knew we were getting chased. The first time, like they were sitting down eating donuts. Like we didn't really know if they were chasing us. But this time, the cops saw us. They knew who we were because we ran from them once already. And one of them told us to stop. So when we started running, there's like a 99.9% chance they were following behind. So yeah, we ran out of the grocery store. We had a pretty good lead on them, which was good. And we were running pretty fast because we were both 15 and like, you know, young and fast. So we were going and we get around the side of the grocery store. Like we run around the corner of it and we see another bike trail. I don't know why my city has so many bike trails, but I'm so fucking glad people in my city like riding bicycles because these trails were fucking lifesavers. They were the perfect avenue to like run down and stay away from main traffic and like people seeing us. So we ran down this other bike trail and we're hauling ass and we run like maybe, I don't know, a minute or so down the bike trail and I see a tree that looks very big and very climbable. And I was like, yo, Sam, let's just climb this tree. And he's like, bet. So we just climbed this big ass tree and it was big, dude. Like it was a high up tree. Like if I had to guess, we were probably like 30 feet off the ground in this tree, which is like pretty high to climb a tree in my opinion. And yeah, we get to the top and we're both just like sitting on this branch. It was a pretty thick branch, but we were definitely kind of scared that it was going to snap or something. But we're just sitting there and we're just hoping that we lost the cops, right? And it was perfect timing. Like maybe 2 minutes later, we hear like jogging footsteps and like the sound of like radio chatter. And sure enough, both cops come jogging down this trail. And I look over at Sam and he looks over at me and we both just like hold our breath. Like we didn't want to make a single sound, right? And the cops like stop right under the tree and they're like looking around and we're both just sitting up in this tree hoping that they don't look up because if they do, they're going to see both of us. And yeah, the cops look like right to left a couple times and one of them goes, let's keep going. And they just continue running down the trail the way they were going. And after about 5 minutes of them running down the trail, I like creep down the tree a little bit and I look down the trail and I don't see them. So they were off the trail at this point. But I knew they had to come back because they left their car at the grocery store. So I went back up the tree and I waited. And Sam's like, what are you doing? And I was like, they're not there, but we can't leave yet. He's like, why not? They're not there. I'm like, bro, the cop car is still at the grocery store. They're going to have to come back for it. And they'll probably come down the trail because that's the fastest way. And he's like, oh shit, good thinking. And we sat up in that tree for about maybe 15 minutes. And sure enough, we start hearing the radio chatter again and the footsteps. And this time the cops walked right by us the other way. And they walked back towards the parking lot of the grocery store. And we sat up there for maybe another 20 minutes just to be extra safe. And I creep down again. I look both ways. No cops. At this point, I think we're good to go. So I tell Sam to come down. He comes down. And we ran all the way back to our houses. We split up like a mile into the run, and I went to my house, he went to his, and we went back to our houses. Now, when I got back to my house, everything seemed pretty normal at first. Like, one of my brothers was home, my other two brothers were at work, my mom was still at work, she was going to be there for another few hours, so I had some time before I had to deal with her coming home and screaming at me and grounding me. And I'm just like, all right, cool, like, I'm going to watch some TV for a bit. So I lay down on my couch, and I started watching some TV. I was watching some SpongeBob, just chilling, right? And all of a sudden, literally like 10 seconds after I turn the TV on, right, I hear my garage door opening. And I'm like, oh, shit. And that meant that my mom was home. And she was home early, which means there's a reason she's home early. That reason probably being me, right? And she comes in through the door, and she looks at me, and she goes, what the fuck did you do? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, no. What did you do? And I was like, I skipped school today. She's like, oh, I know. I got a call on my lunch break, right, from the principal saying that you were skipping. He told me he had the school cop looking for you and nearby cops looking for you. And I said, okay, keep me posted if you find him. And then like a few hours later, I checked my phone again to see if there's any new messages. And I have 2 new messages from the principal saying that you ran from the cops twice and that they were still looking for you. Now this whole time I've tried calling you. Why the fuck didn't you answer your phone? And I'm like, wait, what? You tried calling me? She's like, yeah. And I look at my phone, right? There's no calls. I'm like, what? And I remembered I got into an argument with my mom like 2 days prior, and I blocked her number out of spite. So this whole day while I was skipping school and like hiding from the cops and shit, she was calling me, like trying to see where I was at, and her number was blocked. So she just kept going to voicemail, and I didn't see any of these messages or any of these calls. So I had to explain to her that I had her blocked and I forgot about it, which just pissed her off even more, right? And she goes, whatever, you're done. Like, you're grounded for months, and you're going tomorrow back to school. We're going in the morning. We're having a meeting with the staff, and we're figuring out what your punishment is for skipping. And yeah, I had to go the next day. I had to go into school, in the office, have a meeting with my principal, this school cop, a couple other staff members were there, and they suggested that I get moved to a different school. So I did. I got moved to like this other secondary school thing, and I had to be there for a couple months. It was basically a school for bad kids. And after they told me I had to go there, I was like, okay, sounds good. Then the school cop starts talking. He's like, listen, I don't think you realize, like, what you did yesterday was not good. Like, if you were an adult and you did that, like, you ran from the police the way you did, like, you'd go to jail. Like, you're so lucky that you're a kid and you're getting away with this. Like, you can't do that ever again. Do you understand? And I was like, yes, I do. He's like, no, like, say it. Say, I understand. I was like, I understand. He goes, okay, good. Seriously, don't do that again. Like, you see a cop, you don't run from them. Like, seriously. I'm like, okay. So after that, I had to go to this secondary school for a couple months, like this bad kid school. And guess what? They put Sam in the same school for the same amount of time. So we both had the same first day there. Like, we both got there at the same time and shit. Like, we were both, like, the only people we knew there. And, like, we couldn't really talk until this day because we both didn't have our phones. We were grounded. So when I saw him, I was like, yo, you got put here too? He's like, yeah, dude, you too? I was like, yeah, for like a couple months. How about you? He's like, same. And I'm like, yo, we got the same punishment. That's crazy. So yeah, me and Sam like got to stay in the same school together, which is kind of funny. But yeah, just overall insane. Just one of the most insane skipping school stories I have. Like, we literally hid in a tree above the cops and hid from them. Like, it was crazy. It's just wild all around. But anyway, yeah, me and Sam both went to that school for a couple months. Then we went back to our other high school. And yeah, I got grounded for like 3 months. Like, literally, I didn't have anything for like 3 months. The only thing I had was an old beat up laptop that my mom didn't know I still had. She thought it was broken or something and like had it in my closet. I was just using that to make YouTube videos. So that's the amount of grind I was putting in for you guys. But yeah, that is the story of how I skipped school, ran from the cops, went to the mall, got kicked out of the mall kinda, and then ran from the cops again, and then hid in a tree. The cops didn't see us and got away. Oh, and then got kicked out of my main school for a couple months. Yeah, just a nice plethora of story times, and I thought you guys would enjoy it, because you seem to like the long videos. So yeah, this was a 36-minute story. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like. I definitely have more like this, I can tell them. And yeah, feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I will see you guys all later. Peace.
made like 30 just a week ago and I'm not faced. I heard that song you dropped, you capping, now I see your fate. I made more money than you rapping, you a big disgrace. I'm on my feelings now, I'm feeling reckless, yeah. I spent like